Narayana namaskritya Naraycha Narotaman Devim Sarasatin Vyasa Tatu Jaya Mudiraye Nasapraye Swabhadresu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Nastiki Vede Ramane Chaiva Purane Bharati Tata Harancha Madhi Che Hari Savatagiyate Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangu Langate Gri Yakipataham Vande Sri Guru Dinatarine Paramananda Madhavan Dhamma Prajita Katabhuta Paramoni Masram Satan Vedan Vastavam Atavastum Shvaran Tapataya Molanam Shima Bhagavate Mahamuni Kriteki Vai Para Ishwara Sadhurati Avarudara Tetra Kitibita Kishanan Nigamam Kapan Taru Galitam Falan Sukamo Kandravasanjutam Pibatam Bhakutam Rasam Malaya Muhura Uraseka Bhuvi Bhavuka Atoyam Brahmasutranam Bharatata Beninaya Gayati Basarupo Shobhadata Parabhimita Sabha Vedeti Asanam Saram Saram Paribhimita Sabha Vedanta Sarahi Sri Bhakta Mishate Tarashamita Shatipta Shanayata Sharati Kuchit Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are continuing the study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the chapter 8th canto, chapter 20, text 9. Bali Maharaj surrenders the universe. So we have been reading about the chapters of Bali Maharaj, who was approached by Vamandev, who is Lord Vishnu himself. And Vamandev, he had begged for a charity for 3 steps of land. Yes, even though 3 steps of land seems very insignificant, even to the amazement of Bali, said that, why are you asking for 3 steps of land? I can give you a whole village. I can give you a whole country. Why asking 3 steps of land? Maybe because you are such a young Brahmana, so you are less intelligent, so you only ask me for just 3 steps of land. This is very insulting for me. After all, it's like he's the ruler of the whole universe, because Bali, he had kicked out the demigods from their palaces, their planets. They have no place. So Bali had occupied everywhere in all the 3 planetary systems. So now, Vamandev had come to beg for charity. Of course, we know Lord Vishnu wants to take away whatever Bali had possessed, had acquired. He wanted to take it back from him and give it back to the demigods. So, in this case, Bali essentially agreed, okay, whatever you want, I give you. If you say, okay, you want the 3 steps of land, you can take it. But immediately his guru came, Sukracharya. He said, why you want to make such a promise? This is improper for you to do that. This is not good for you, because this person here, he is not an honorary brahmachari. He is Vishnu himself. He has simply come to trick you. So if you fulfill your promise to him, then you're going to lose everything. And then, of course, Sukracharya gave so many reasons why you should simply tell Vamandev that, oh, no, okay, I'm not giving you the whatever you've asked for. Just say no. Just say no, I'm not giving you. After all, even though you've made a promise, but you have not backed up this promise with a proper mantra, especially with the chanting of Om, because by the chanting of Om, it's indicative of, a resolution to do something. But you have not done all these things. You have simply given a promise that, okay, whatever you ask for, I will give you. So you can just tell him, no, no, no. And especially, you're Grihasthas, you have to maintain your household. How can you give away what you have? You cannot give away what you have. You give away what you have, how are you going to maintain yourself? Because this person is going to take away everything from you. It's going to make you become poverty-stricken. So therefore, you should simply say no. You're not going to give this charity. Now, we know that Bali Maharaj actually was not an ordinary person. Even though he was a demon, but it was not an ordinary demon either. Just like, I was giving some class a few months ago, whereby we were saying that among the demons, there also can be good demons. Good demons. Actually, demons means who is bad, correct? But also sometimes there are good demons, And also among the demigods, there can be bad demigods. Right? Because demigods, they simply want to enjoy themselves. Demigods, they are in that position because they want for sense gratification. A person becomes a demigod by performing so many pious activities in many lifetimes. So you become a demigod. And normally people perform pious activities because of sense gratification, not because they want to go to the spiritual world, or not because they want to serve Lord Vishnu. By the performance of Vedic sacrifices, so many giving a charity, many things, one can become a demigod. So some of them, because of their so much absorption in sense gratification, sometimes they neglect the order of the Supreme Lord. But sometimes the demons, we find that some of them sometimes become devotees. We've had the case of Vitrasura. Vitrasura, even though he was a big demon, but at the same time also he was also a devotee. He was a devotee. Similarly, also Bali Maharaj, even though he was the king of the demons, but his grandfather was Prahlad Maharaj, who was the best of all the devotees. Every morning we worship Lord Sringadev every morning. And every morning we chanted Prahlad Maharaj mantra. So, and Prahlad, he was the grandfather of Bali Maharaj. It was mentioned in the Vedic scriptures that if one become a devotee, if one become a pure devotee, that 100 generations in the past and 100 generations in the future will all become delivered. So which means a devotee is not just deliverer of himself, he's also deliverer of his family members, of his generations, of his ancestors, from previous lives and also in the future life. So that's why it's much better to be a devotee of the Lord. One actually does good for oneself and also for one's family member. So which means if one become a devotee, if a family member become a devotee, the families, they should not be lamenting that, oh, my son has joined the Hare Krishna temple. So what's going to happen now? So they are, like in the West, let's find a way to deprogram him. This is very common in the West, especially in the olden days of ISKCON society, in the 70s and 80s, whereby this is the family member, they will go and kidnap the devotees, and then they will subject them to some kind of psychological torture. It's called deprogramming, so they can stop thinking of being a devotees. So we have many cases of this. This, to some extent, this also happened in India also here. This also happened in India to some extent. We have the case of Raghunath Goswami, that even though he tried so much to go and join Chaitanya Prabhu in Puri, but his father will always he will always bring him back. We always find it different, because his father was so rich, he didn't want his son to leave home. He did not want his son to leave home. He got Raghunath Goswami surrounded with so many security guards to make sure that he will not leave home. So this is the situation. But if one become devotees, pure devotees of the Lord, one generation in the past and the future, your God deliver. So this benefit was there in the case of Bali Maharaj. So when Sukracharya told him that this person who has come, he's Vishnu himself. He has simply come to trick you. So Bali Maharaj is not giving his reason here why he cannot follow this instruction of his guru. He cannot follow this instruction. So many different reasons have been given in a various texts which we are reading. So today's text, in the text number 9, so we can just chant, Sulabha Yudevi Prasre Yane Brita Sanutajan Natata Tita Ayati Shradaya Ye Dhana Chaja Sulabha, very easily obtained, Yudhi, in the battlefield, Vipral say, O best of the Brahmanas, he indeed, Anuvritaha, not being afraid of fighting, Tanuchaja, and thus lay down their lives. Na, not, tata, as, tityayate, on the arrival of a saintly person who creates holy places. Shradaya, with faith and devotion, yea, those who, Dhanachaja, can give up their accumulated wealth. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. O best of the Brahmanas, many men have laid down their lives on the battlefield, being unafraid of fighting, but rarely has one gotten the chance to give his accumulated wealth faithfully to a saintly person who creates holy places. Purport. Many Kshatriyas have laid down their lives on the battlefield for their nations, but hardly a person can be found who has given up all his property and his accumulated wealth in charity to a person worthy of the gift. As stated in Bhagavad-Gita 17:20, Databyaniti yadhanam diyate anupakarine desekalecha patrecha tadhanam satvikam smritan. That gift which is given out of duty at the proper time and place to a worthy person and without expectation of return is considered to be charity in the mode of goodness. Thus, charity given in the proper place is called sattvika, and above this charity in goodness is transcendental charity, in which everything is sacrificed for the sake of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vamandev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, had come to Bali for alms. How could one get such an opportunity to give charity? Therefore, Bali Maharaj decided without hesitation to give the Lord whatever he wanted. One may get various opportunities to lay down his life on the battlefield, but such an opportunity as this is hardly ever obtained. Gurave Gurachandraya, Radhikata Dalaya, Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya, Tabhaktayo Namo Namaha, Agyana Trimindasya, Ganan Ganan Salakaya, Chaksumita Yinatasma, Shri Gurave Namaha. Vancha Kapatrubhyacha, Kripasini Vivacha, Paditana, Pavana, Bhivashna, Bhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna, Bhaktaya, Srimati Bhakti-yoga Swami Namo. Namaste Sasati Devi Guravani Vichaya, this is the Sunyavadi Pasita Vishta. Silaba Yudi Vipratse, he anibritas tanutya jaha, matata titayate, sodaya ye danatya. O best of the Brahmanas, many men have laid down their lives on the battlefield, being unafraid of fighting, but rarely has one gotten the chance to give his accumulated wealth faithfully to a simple person who creates holy places. So here, Bali Maharaj is making a distinction here of making sacrifice. One is sacrifice of one's life on a battlefield, and the other one is sacrifice of one's wealth to a worthy cause. So he's making a distinction here that, we've read so many stories, especially in the Puranas. Many stories are there of many personalities who have given up their lives on the battlefield. This you also find not just in the Vedic heritage, in the Vedic culture, even in the Western culture also. We find many stories of great fighters who have laid down their lives, because it's for what it costs. Because for them, laying down lives to them is like the great necessity for the cause of the country, for the cause of the land. So one is willing to perform the utmost sacrifice of giving up one's life. The Kshatriyas, a Kshatriya will never refuse a battle. Kshatriya will never refuse a battle. A Kshatriya will go to a battle and will not return. Either he get killed or he kills someone. That is it. Kshatriya means heroic. They have to fight, and they must be wounded also. They have to be sure the reason how they got to the fighting. Which means a Kshatriya is not the one that simply make a command, sitting in a nice office and making a command to send his soldiers to the battlefield. A Kshatriya leads the battle, must lead the army. So the many personalities they've done that. We find the case of Jarasandha. Jarasandha was, he was a demon who was attacking Mathura during the Krishna Lila. He was creating so much havoc. So Lord Krishna wanted a way to kill him. Even though, yes, Lord Krishna had fought him 17 different times, and each of those times Jarasandha had been defeated. But the Lord, he wanted to find a way by which Jarasandha could be defeated, could be killed, without sacrificing the lives of so many soldiers. So one time, Lord Krishna, Arjuna and Bhima, they dressed as a Brahmana. They dressed as a Brahmana, and then they went to the palace of Jarasandha. So because Jarasandha, in the Vedic times, people are very, welcoming to the Brahmanas. We find this both the demons and the saintly persons, the Brahmanas, the demons, those who are everyone is very, very charitable to the Brahmanas. Everyone welcomed the Brahmanas to their house. So Krishna had come in the guise of a Brahmana along with Bhima and Arjuna. So they went to the palace of Jarasandha. So Jarasandha, he welcomed them. He gave them nice arrangement, fed them nicely. And then Jarasandha asked them what they want. So Krishna said that we've come to beg for charity. So Jarasandha said, okay, what charity do you want? The charity is that we want to fight with you. That's our charity, we want to fight with you. So Jarasandha is, he said, I know who you are. I know who you are, this is your Krishna. And he knows that this is Arjuna, this is Bhima. So, and because you've come to beg from me, so therefore I must fulfill your promise. Of course, he gave a condition that, okay, but I will not fight with Arjuna because Arjuna is younger to me. And I will not fight with you, Krishna, because you've run away from me 17 different times, but I will only fight only with Bhima. So in this way, there was a fighting that took place for, I think, about 30 days. It's a long period of time. And then eventually, Jarasandha was killed eventually. So this is the Kshatriya spirit. The Kshatriya, they must face challenges always. But in this case here, the distinction has also been made of those who have accumulated great wealth. Those who have accumulated great wealth. So great wealth is actually the most valuable possession that's even more dear than one's life. So a person may sacrifice everything, but the sacrifice of wealth is most rare for anyone to sacrifice his own wealth. Very, very rarely, very, very rare. And that's why here, Bali Maharaj, he is saying that many persons, they've given up their lives on the battlefield, but very, very rare you find one person to actually give up the accumulated wealth. Very, very rare. So the giving up of wealth is actually it's like a greater sacrifice to give one's wealth for a worthy cause. But of course, if one is able to do this, a person who is able to sacrifice wealth actually attain much more lasting fame. Just like because we know that people obtain wealth. You have so much wealth which you obtain, but ultimately, how much longer can you keep the wealth? No matter what you obtain, eventually, when you have to die, you cannot take the wealth with you when you have to die. So therefore, even in the modern day, we have so many wealthy personalities who have actually make a pledge that, okay, whatever wealth they possess, they're going to give it away to charity. We have the case of somebody like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, and many wealthy persons. They said that they actually pledged their entire wealth. That, okay, even though they are worth billions and billions of dollars, they said whatever we obtain, we are pledging everything to charity. We are pledging everything to charity. But of course, this is a mundane charity, of course. It's not that, because in Bhagavad-Gita describe 3 types of charity that one give. You have the charity in the mode of ignorance, the charity in the mode of passion, and the charity in the mode of goodness. So, it's just like if you're walking on the street and somebody comes to beg money from you, and then you give the money to a person, and the person takes the money and then go drink alcohol. That is a charity in the mode of ignorance, because the money is being misused. So that charity in the mode of ignorance, which is not really worthy of giving. And that's why normally devotees especially, they are very, very cautious when it comes to giving charity. You don't just give charity just like that. You have to make sure it's used properly before you can give it. And also, in this world, many people love to give charity. We have so many philanthropists, Many philanthropists are there who are giving charity, but they are doing so because they want some fame, some adoration, for that. They want to be known as great charity giver. That's also in the mode of passion. Because I want to be known as a great philanthropist. So that's in the mode of passion. But when a charity is given to a worthy person, especially a Brahmana, a sage, a Vaishnava, when the charity is given to them, because such charity will never be misused. It's mentioned here that in the Bhagavad-Gita, it says that Tita Ayate, Tita means to a saintly person whose presence alone creates a place of pilgrimage. The presence of a saintly person, it makes a place very, very auspicious. So when we give charity to such a person, just for the sake of it, what happens is that such charity actually becomes very, very beneficial. It becomes very, very beneficial to charity. So in the Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 17, by which Prabhupada had cited here, Databhyan iti yadanam, diyate nupakarine, desikalecha patrecha, tadanan satikam smritam. That charity, that gift or charity given out of duty without expectation of return at the proper time and place and to a worthy person is considered to be in a mode of goodness. So the charity given to a worthy person, in this case, a worthy person is basically a Brahmana, or a saintly person. When you give charity to a Brahmana, what do they do with the charity? They don't use the money or whatever they are giving. They don't use that for their own self-gratification, but they use it for the benefit of mankind. Just like you give money to, let's say you give money to the Hare movement. What do we do with the money? We don't use the money because we want so many cars, we want nice food for ourselves, What do we do with the money? We print so many books. Just like during the Christmas marathon, devotees go, especially places in many big cities here in India, Delhi, Bombay, and all that. So devotees go and approach so many industrialists to get last clocks and cross of donation from them. So they get cross and cross of donation from them, and then they print lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of Bhagavad-Gita. So that by preaching lakhs and lakhs of Bhagavad-Gita, that Gita is given out to people at a subsidized cost. So that instead of buying Gita for 200 rupee printing cost, people maybe they get it for 50 rupees instead of 200 rupees. So in this way, lakhs and lakhs of Bhagavad-Gita are distributed, and then many people get benefit. That is a laudable charity, when you give such kind of charity. Not that just to give some charity to some so-called philanthropies, to feed the so-called poor people who will not do much beneficial. But if you give the real charity, what can arouse people's Krishna consciousness, that is worthy of giving. So therefore, it said that Chita Yate means the person, a saintly person, they create an environment whereby people can become Krishna conscious. Because they create an environment where people can become Krishna conscious. If the charity is given to them, then it becomes beneficial to the charity giver and also to the people at large. They will become beneficial to everyone. So Srila Prabhupada, he had commented in this verse of the Gita, in the Bhagavad-Gita, whereby he says, in the Vedic literature, charity giving to a person engaged in spiritual activities is recommended. There is no recommendation for giving charity indiscriminately. Spiritual perfection is always a consideration. Therefore, charity is recommended to be given at a place of pilgrimage and solar eclipse or at the end of month or whatever, or to a qualified Brahmana or Vaishnava devotee or in temples. Such charities should be given without any consideration of return. Charity to the poor is sometimes given out of compassion, but if a poor man is not worth giving charity to, then there is no spiritual advancement. In other words, indiscriminate charity is not recommended in the Vedic literature. On the same verse, Srila Siddha Swami, the great commentator, he had also said on this point, he said, the threefold divisions of charity are now being delineated by Lord Krishna. To give in charity to a worthy recipient is a duty. Those who give such charity without the slightest inclination for any reciprocal return are those situated in Sattvagun, the mode of goodness. Such aspirants will offer charity at an auspicious place such as Kurukshetra, where Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad-Gita, or anywhere along the bank of the Ganges. They will offer charity at an auspicious time, such as during solar eclipse or the holy day of Ekadasi, the 11th day preceding the new moon and the full moon. They will offer charity to auspicious personalities such as Vaishnava Brahmanas, endowed with wisdom in knowing the conclusion of the Vedic scriptures, or they will offer charity to a temple of the Supreme Lord Krishna or any of his authorized incarnations as revealed in Vedic scriptures. These are all charity situated in Sattvagun. The word patri means qualified person. It can also mean protector, if analyzed from its root. Who is better to protect one than the Vaishnava Brahmanas, who can reveal the conclusive truths of the Vedic scriptures and save one from samsara, the perpetual cycle of birth and death? So in this case, we know, so Bali here, he's giving this the proper analysis of charity of whereby the sacrifice of one's worth to a worthy cause is much more valuable than just giving up one's life on the battlefield. And especially the Supreme Lord himself, he has come to bear for charity. Vamandev has come to bear for charity. How much more auspicious can that be? Such an opportunity is hardly ever obtained. Hardly ever obtained. How many persons have said, oh, did God himself come to us for charity? Very, very rarely obtained. This is what Bali is saying. He said that even Lord Vishnu has come. Lord Vishnu doesn't go around and beg anyone to give him charity. He never does that. So the person must be extremely, extremely fortunate that the Lord himself will come and beg him for charity. So if the Lord himself come and beg you for charity, how can you refuse? How can you refuse? Because such an opportunity is very rarely, is practically impossible. It's impossible. After all, the Supreme Lord, he owns everything anyway. He is the possessor of everything. He He owns everything. What does not belong to him? Everything belongs to him. But the possessor of everything is not coming to beg for charity. From you, he's coming to beg for charity. How can one refuse such a thing? He said, oh, what a wonderful opportunity. What a wonderful opportunity the person can have. So in this case, the Bali, he practically became the guru of his own guru. You know, he became guru of his own guru because Sukracharya was his guru, and Sukracharya is telling him that Vishnu has come, you cannot give him what he has asked for. So Bali is telling him that what kind of instruction you are giving. I didn't expect this of you, because a guru is the one that's supposed to know everything. He's supposed to know everything as it is. And a guru is the one that specifically take the disciple to the other side of the ocean of materialistic existence. So therefore, Bhagavatam says, Gurunas are shared that one should not become a guru if one cannot deliver one's own dependent. One should not become a guru. If one simply become a guru for the purpose of materialistic arrangement, then it's nothing but cheating. It's not cheating. If one is unable to deliver one's disciple, it's cheating. That's how it's cheating. One does not become a guru just for the sake of collecting that shame. Guru is a responsibility. To become a guru is a responsibility. That's why I said that being a guru means heavy. Guru also means heavy. That's the word of guru, means heavy. Heavy means because one's able to take one, the other one's able to take the disciple to the other side of the river, or the other side of River Viraj. There's a river that separates material world from the spiritual world. It's called Viraj. Of course, it is not an ordinary river. This river is so huge, it's so vast. So a guru must be able to transport the disciples across this river. And if a guru is unable to do that, then such a person is not qualified to be a guru. And if one simply become a guru just for the sake of name and adoration and distinction, one is simply a cheater. And such a guru is fit to be rejected. Vedic scripture said that if one have a guru and one determined that such a guru is not really able to, to really give one's deliverance, then such a guru should be rejected. It's there in the scriptures. It should be rejected. So in this case, Bali Maharaj is essentially, after all, Bali Maharaj is a Mahajan himself, is a Mahajan. We have 12 Mahajans, and Bali Maharaj is one of them. Bali, Vayashaki, Vayan. So Bali is one of them. So in his capacity as a Mahajan, he's now become the guru of his spiritual master. And it's not uncommon that sometimes the guru become the disciple of the disciple. It's not uncommon. We have the case of Yadav Prakash. Yadav Prakash, he was the guru of Ramanujacharya. So Ramanujacharya, he was always a devotee of the Lord. Yadav Prakash was his guru when Ramanuja was in the Gurukul. But Yadav Prakash, he was a Mayavadi guru. He was a Advaita sannyasi. He was a Mayavad. That when he was teaching Ramanuja, along with all his students, and Ramanuja was correcting him, telling him that what you are saying is incorrect. What you are saying is wrong. So the Guru said, how can you say that? How dare you say that? He became angry, even to the point that he even made a plot to kill Ramanuja. That how dare you go against your Guru? How dare you go against him? He made a plot to kill him, to kill Ramanuja. But somehow, by the Lord's own arrangement, Ramanuja was saved from being killed by his own guru. He was saved by Lord. So eventually after a long period of time, Yadav Prakash he realized his mistake, that Ramanuja is actually a great Mahabhagavat, that he actually became a disciple of his own disciple. So that example is there. That the guru, one does not become a guru just for the namesake. One become a guru for the purpose of taking the disciple to cross the ocean of material existence, and the most important thing, one become a guru for the purpose of directing someone to become a devotee of the Supreme Lord. The disciple must be taught how to surrender everything unto the lotus feet of the Lord. That's the whole purpose of guru-disciple relationship. There's no other purpose on that. So this chapter of Bali Maharaj, surrendering everything to the Lord, is very, very, very important. It is one of the most important part of Bhagavatam, because Bali Maharaj is a Mahajan, and he's teaching us by his own example. So Bali Maharaj, and what is his qualification? His qualification is that he surrendered everything unto the Supreme Lord. He surrendered everything, he surrendered his entire life, his entire life to the Supreme Lord. So much so that the Lord was so happy with Bali Maharaj, even though Bali Maharaj was cast into the lower planet, Pataloka, because Bali Maharaj was unable to fulfill his promise, because 2 promises was fulfilled, the 3 steps of land, but the 3rd step, the Lord they could not find a place to put the 3rd steps. So Bali Maharaj was arrested and he was put in the lower planet. And then in his palace, in his place where he was put, the Lord himself became his chokidar. The Lord himself became the security guide of Bali Maharaj. This we're going to find in the later chapters of this Bhagavatam narration. So I'm going to stop here. If anybody has some question or comments, you can please share. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
You say charity given without expectation. Yeah, but then we see when we go to members, we make them members, we promise them, we give you this one, we give you this one. So many promises we make to them. And when they come and they don't give their promises, they have to suffer. So in this condition, what we should do?
Well, I mean, it's first of all, of course, devotee should not be making promise and not fulfill the promise. Devotee should be honest in always. And the making of membership and promise them, it's not the same as you want to give them charity. You are fulfilling that. You want to give them this, you want to give them that because they are giving. Kind of business arrangement. Let's say transcendental business. You give us this money, we're going to give you this much. So it doesn't really fall in the same category as charity. It doesn't fall in the same category. But at the same time, devotees should be always be honest. Because if you are not honest in in what we have promised people, it tar the reputation. It affects the reputation of the society. The people start looking at us as a society of liars. So we should not be liars. We should be honest in all of our dealings. So, if we promise something, we have to fulfill the promise. We should never mix. Unfortunately, it goes on, but we want to do. Again, devotees, you give money to the temples for the service of the temple. And, Krishna take care of the rest. So, which means devotees will not necessarily chastise. If the promise is not fulfilled, it's not devotees will get chastised. If all the money was given to the temple and the money was used for the service of Krishna, even though some mistake was made in that respect, still, devotees are okay. They don't get the reaction of not fulfilling what they said they're going to do. You got my point? Yeah. However, if we take money from someone and then we use it for our own self, we don't turn everything over to the society. We want to keep some and keep some, then the problem is there. Then the problem will come.
Materialist people, they think that we have come to ask them charity. So their mind is that we are asking charity and we are giving charity. Then we are giving charity, but we are promising these things. They are not expecting that what we are giving. They think that I am giving charity. And we giving charity and we think we got charity, so we should promise him something.
But the charity should be given without expectation of return. That's the point of Bhagavatam. The real charity is what is given without expectation of return. Otherwise, it becomes a business. So that's never encouraged. The charity means you give without wanting anything to return. So Bali is ready to sacrifice everything. Okay, even he said, if I lose everything, so be it. Whatever I promise, I'm going to give that. So that's the whole thing. We should encourage people to give charity, but we should not tell them, okay, you give this charity, you will get this much. No, that is not good preaching either. Okay. Hare Krishna. Any other points? Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Grant us Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki,